Hey everybody, Steven here. Today we're going to be covering some mobility and stretching routines that you can do to help with increasing the range of motion, the flexibility, the mobility of the ankle here. Now, we're going to be addressing the calf primarily with this, but for a lot of people, their calves are so tight that it's limiting the range of motion that they can actually get with their ankle, so their flat-footed squat becomes affected by this. I actually covered the flat-footed squat, some of the routines that I do to that I'm working with right now to actually help improve that for myself. This is the mobility and stretching aspect of that, and I actually mentioned the fact that I was going to be doing a video in that other one for this. Now I'm going to do all of these, and you're actually going to need some tools that I'll cover here in a second, and then I'll do other videos where I kind of break it down, and we'll just keep with one actual tool per video for that. This is going to be all of them though, okay? Now for this you're going to need a lacrosse ball, a massage stick, a half dome foam roller, okay? And then an actual foam roller with this, all right? So let's go ahead and get into the first part of this, which is going to be utilizing the foam roller, all right? Now for this, all you're going to be doing is foam rolling your calf, okay? So for this, what you want to do, we're going to stack one leg over the top, and then I'll prop my body up, and then I'm going to go back and forth on my calf, and I'll actually go up with this as I go, right? So I'm pulling my body. What I don't want to do is like lean so far back that I'm pulling my shoulders back like that, okay? And with this, anytime you're doing soft tissue work, I mean, you're seeking out those knots and those tight areas, and one of the signals with that, unfortunately, is it's going to be painful, okay? So we're seeking that out, and what I like to tell people is that my tibia is right here, okay? But I have this whole surface area that I want to cover when I'm doing this. So I won't just go up and down like this. I'll actually tilt side to side also, okay? Tilting side to side, seeking out those areas that really need that work on it, okay? And I'll do both sides for that. Typically 30 to 45 seconds with that, okay? So that's the foam roller. I can actually progress eventually to the lacrosse ball. Now keep in mind that's a bigger surface area when it's rolling on my calf. This is more pinpointed, so this is actually going to be more intense. So with that I can actually stack here, I can lift up, and I can still go up and down on this, right? For some people you might actually need to put it on a yoga block, okay? So that it actually lifts it up, because for some people when they come here, now I can actually lift up, I don't know if you can see that, but from here I can lift up and I'm off the ground. Okay? For some people they won't be, or it's a little bit harder. So you might need to prop that up on a yoga block or a book or something like that, so that it actually gives you a little bit better of a surface area to work with on this. But even so, even if I can't, right, if I'm just here kind of rolling back and forth like this is enough. I mean, this is a lot of pressure. Once I stack over like this, I could actually just stay here and kind of, if I'm stacking correctly, I could just flex my foot and then bring it back, right? And go back and forth like this, and that's actually going to help work some of those knots out as well. So we've done, and this is with the groundwork, okay? We've done the foam roll and the lacrosse ball, and that's just for the calf right here. If you want to start working with your feet, and actually as I'm on the ground, just the ability to spread my toes out to strengthen the foot, so pulling tight, right? Creating dexterity with the toes and the foot, just like you have with your hand, is a drill that I recommend also. If you need to and your calf's really tight, right, I can sit here and I can massage the bottom of my foot and move this around and find those areas. This would be a scaled version of it. Obviously, if I'm sitting in a chair, which we're going to get to here in a little bit, or if I'm standing, this is going to be a little bit more intense. With any of the soft tissue work, it's really the applied force, whether that's via your weight or you actually pushing down on it, right, being a little bit more active, that's going to have an effect on it, okay? So we've done foam roller, we've done the lacrosse ball on the ground. Now we're actually going to transition. We're going to do some work sitting in a chair that you can do with your massage stick and your lacrosse ball, okay? Okay, so now we're over to the chair. Now for this, let's go ahead and just start with the lacrosse ball. Now, as I mentioned before, if I wanted to apply more pressure to my foot, I could sit here and work on that right now. I could even lean on top of it, right, to get that force to kind of massage the bottom of my foot and get in there a little bit, or even just to give my foot something to kind of work with gripping on, right, and actually pulling on top of that ball. Now, a lot of people work on their gastrocnemius here or their soleus down in here when they're doing that, and that's actually what we were just working with on the ground with the foam roller and the lacrosse ball here. But your tibialis right here, the anterior part of your tibialis, and basically this outside part of your calf, a lot of people don't work on, and that's actually what gets really, really tight also. So you want to make sure you're addressing this outside part of your calf. There's a lot of muscles in here, right? So if you want to look at the anatomy and all that, you can look online, but all you need to know is that you do need to work here also. For this, one of the really fun drills that I like that helps a lot is taking this lacrosse ball in my hand, I'll lift my leg up, I'll grab and I'll pull this in to my calf, so I'll apply pressure when I'm pushing in. Once I'm there, okay, I'm going to do circles with my foot. I can go up and down also, either or, right? I'm going to move around, and I might do a set amount, like 5 circles one direction, 5 circles the other direction, or I might lift up and down 5 times, and then I'll find another spot, and I'll move around, and then I'll pull in really tight, and I'll work on that. Just working the full length on this outside part of the calf right here, okay? With this one can be, I mean, with any of these, it can be quite painful, but like I said, people aren't addressing this outside sweep on the calf, so you want to make sure you're getting there. And I want to run the full length, right? I'm going to work all around here, okay? So that's one drill that you can do with the lacrosse ball when you're seated like this. The other one is that I can actually take this massage stick right here, and this serves a lot of other functions as well, but I can take this and I can just push pressure down, and I can actually just go up and down and get in there and really dig in on it. Not only on the outside part of my calf here, but on my gastrocnemius and my soleus, right? The inside part of my calf in here also. And this is all based off how much force you're gonna apply, right? You find an area that really, really hurts, you can sit there and kind of work on that for a little bit longer. The cool part is, let's say I just have this, you can take the edge of this and I can do the same thing I was doing with the lacrosse ball, push in and then do those circles, right? As long as I can grab this and really dig in on that area, okay? And then I would do my circles. So, that has been the massage stick and the lacrosse ball portion of this. So let's go ahead and move on to some stretches that we're going to use now with the half dome, all right? Alrighty, so now that we have the half dome, we're going to do just some basic calf stretching, okay? So what you're going to do for this is we're going to place one foot on top of this, all right? And that other foot I'm going to use, and you can scale this, right? Bringing it somewhat close, and I'm just going to lean forward, and that'll stretch the calf. If I need more stretch, I'll actually bring my foot further up, and I can lean forward more, and I can stretch that calf also. If you're by a countertop, you can actually put both your feet on this. I'll use this chair real quick. So I can put both my feet on this, okay, and then I can actually begin to bow forward. And then I can rest on top of this, and that's going to stretch all the way up that back side of the leg, hitting the calves and the hamstrings. So that's one option. For the stretches, I'm going to recommend 20-30 seconds for the hold to start, maybe progressing eventually to 45 seconds, even a minute, right? But know where you're at and don't push to a point where you're actually really just hurting yourself, okay? Now, with this one, I can also bend my knee a little bit, right? Which is going to cause a little bit more stretch in the bottom portion of my calf, so I can actually bend here. And then I can stretch a little bit on the front side and down in here, right? For this calf also. I recommend looking into Katie Bowman if you don't know who she is. She's a biomechanist. She covers a lot of this stuff in her books. She has books just covering stuff that you can do with your feet that are phenomenal. And she really talks about how to correct a lot of these bad movement patterns that we have so that this doesn't become a prolonged problem, right? One of the things that she does cover that I would recommend you looking into also is the rainbow stretching, which would, for your calf, would be that I would do one angle, right? And I would basically create like a spectrum, like an arc, or an arch that you would do with that, okay? So I can start here, and then I can go straight, and then I can do the outside part like this, right? Because it's hitting different angles on that muscle while you stretch, okay? So that's the half dome. But that's really going to be kind of here on the soleus and really in the gastrocnemius, right? The back side. Now for the front side, right? This part of the calf, if we're wanting to stretch it, one of the things that you can do, and you can either use a countertop or a chair if you're really off balance with this. You don't need it, but you can put your foot back like this. So now I'm really just putting my toes flat, and then I can actually bend. And as I bend, I can stretch that front part. I can put my foot back more, right? And then really just stretch through not only the front part of the foot, but also, like I mentioned, the front part of the calf here. If I'm off balance, right, I might go here, and I might actually lean down a little bit so that I can actually stretch through there as well, right? That way I can stay centered with this. So that's going to be the stretching portion for this. I'm going to add one other aspect to this, which is I'll actually tilt my foot to the side and I'll kind of push into that. And I might play around with the different angles that I can put my foot to stretch into that position, right? A lot of people are twisting their ankles because they don't put their foot in that position very often. It becomes weak, right? We want to assume various positions. We want to try and strengthen ourselves in those positions so that when we actually fall or anything like that, we don't hurt ourselves, okay? So I'll actually do this, and I'll probably do this same thing about 30 seconds on either side, right? Maybe coming in and out of the stretch with any of these also, okay? Now that we've covered that, we're going to go back down to the ground and we're going to do one more stretch that I'm going to show you, okay? So we're going to transition to the ground now. All right, so this is going to be the last stretch that we do. And for this might be a little too advanced for some people, and if that is you, don't worry about it, okay? Everybody starts somewhere. I mean, this just in and of itself, getting into this kneeling position might be hard for some people. Really means you need to work on some other things in order to get here, okay? You might be a handful of steps behind this, and that's okay. This requires a lot of ankle mobility and flexibility just for me to get into this position right here. If you can get into this position, the stretch I'm about to show you is one that I like to do for the front side part of my calf here, and my ankle, my foot, which is that I'll actually lean back, and then I'll bring my knees up, and then I'll actually lean back into this, just like that. And I might bring my knees in and out just to change that a little bit. I can do this with one leg if I wanted to, where I might be here, and then I would lean back into that. And with that, essentially what I'm doing when I'm lifting the leg up, my foot's down like this, right? And I'm lifting and leaning back so that I can really stretch everything from here all the way up. This one I'll hold a shorter period of time just because I'm trying to build my flexibility, strength, and mobility into that position. And it's really just like more like 20, maybe 30 seconds for me right now. But it's to help increase this range of motion so that we can get into that flat-footed squat. But also, because we need our feet for, they're just all these complex movements that we're doing outside of here. What I love is that when I build strength, mobility, flexibility, all that in these positions, I've basically had my ankle tilted to the side before I get put in an awkward position where it might actually sprain somebody else's ankle. Mine hasn't. It'll flop down or it'll pop back up because it gets into these positions quite often, right? And it's strong enough to maintain those positions also. So I hope this helps. If anybody has anything else that they want me to do video-wise, let me know. Definitely look into Katie Bowman, look into Kelly Starrett if you haven't seen some of their stuff before. There's a ton of information out there on great mobility routines that you can do. GMB Fitness is another thing that you can look up on Facebook. They have a ton of great mobility practices and drills that you can do as well. That kind of coincides with a lot of the stuff that I've shown you today. If you like what you've seen, hit the subscribe button. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. If there's anything else that you want to see, like I said, comment, let me know. Let me know if there's anything that you thought was missing in here, or something that I should check out that I can expand my own knowledge base as well. So thank you guys so much again for watching.